What's going on, guys? It's your boy and the Matrix. I'm back with another video, and today we're gonna talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I just beat the game. I finished playing it, so I wanted to give my 2 cents on it, and I got mixed feelings about it. You know, and people are very divided on the whole Final Fantasy VII being episodic. In 3 installments, a trilogy, as the original game was. Just a one game on the PlayStation 1, right? So I'm going to go over the pros and cons of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and why it kind of sucks. Oh man, I'm going to get attacked for this one.
Hello, this is Yami Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! And make sure to subscribe to Andy Matrix's channel. Now on with the show.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the pros. Okay, so what is so great about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Okay, one of the first things that I really like about the game is the battle system. Okay, the battle system has to be the absolute best. I have never seen a battle system such as this. This has to be the best battle system I have ever seen a game produce. Square Enix really outdid themselves with this battle system. I really like it, and I think they should continue using it in the future in other games, of course, with their own twist. But yeah, the battle system in Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth is off the charts with the with the team attacks and all the special all the new extra stuff, right? Queen's Blood. Queen's Blood was basically Yu-Gi-Oh for Final Fantasy. Kind of think of it, Final Fantasy 9 has a card game, Final Fantasy 8 has a card game, and there's other. Yeah, I think the last few Final Fantasy games have had their own card game, except 16, maybe 15. But I think this is kind of like a trend in Final Fantasy games where, like, there's always like a card game that they play. But anyways, yeah. So Queen's Blood was very fun. It was. Yeah, I didn't see anything negative about it. I thought it was a good addition. Kind of like a side thing if you want to keep playing the game. You can, there's other stuff to do than to just follow the main story. It was really fun. The side missions were fun, especially the Concord game. I mean, I'm really like, that Concord game was overwhelming. I mean, I spent like a couple of hours playing it. I did all the missions with the Concord game. It was really fun. And I was wondering how they were gonna, make that game possible in this game, in the new installment. And they did a really good job, man. Another thing about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the mini games. All the mini games, most of them were really fun. A lot of the mini games were really fun, especially the chocobo racing. I absolutely love the chocobo racing because, I don't know, chocobos are like very charming creatures. I wish they were kind of real, And yeah, with the chocobo racing, just riding on chocobos and finding new chocobos is really great experience. And however, I do think that there were way too many mini games, which can be tiring, and sometimes I just skip them. I don't even bother sometimes with the mini games because there's just so many of them, and sometimes you just want to go through the story. There's just a lot to do in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Another great thing about it was the extended stories for some characters like Johnny. Johnny's side story was really fun. He was like is just this comedy relief in Final Fantasy VII. Always has been, right? Dine and Barrett, we got to see a little more of their story. We got to see Barrett's wife. I didn't even know Barrett had a wife. They never even mentioned Barrett's wife in the original, did they? I don't think we ever saw her in the original. Also, automatically getting Yuffie instead of having to get all those questions right, because I actually do like Yuffie. I like her character. But in the original, you had to bump into her in like the forest and answer all the questions and hope that that she joins your team, right? Oh man, and the Golden Saucer, of course. I think the Golden Saucer is one of the best parts about Final Fantasy VII in general. Like going there, the experience is like the theme park of Final Fantasy. Hopefully, Square Enix will bring that to life, and like the Nintendo world. But the Golden Saucer, there's just so much to do there. A lot of fun stuff, and a lot of great fun events happen there. It's just really one of my favorite parts of the game. Now, let's go ahead and go into the cons, because the cons, I have a lot to say about this, man. One of the cons about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the game is way too long. There's so much to do. The Queen's Blood, the mini games, all those missions that you have to do. There's like a photography thing you gotta do. In a lot of those missions, there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of cutscenes, a lot of, there's just so much to do that I heard there were people, there was a YouTuber that spent 300 hours playing the game, man. That is crazy to me. I really don't have all that time, and this is where I feel like it doesn't really like respect your time, but then again, who's forcing you to play the game? That being said, you could spend hours, hundreds of hours playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because there's so much to do. All the things you gotta get, all the, fighting the summons, the mini games, the missions. It's never ending. And you could literally spend 400 hours on this game easily. Easily. And I think that's one of the things that made this game so popular on Steam and, the top 10 games of the year, hopefully. Right? One of the things that I didn't like about Rebirth is that we didn't get to see Cid's town, which would kind of ruin the story. So when you first meet Cid in Rebirth, he's just like a transportation guide. He just transport you, around the map. And I think they might have. I think they're saving Cid's town for the next game, because after you go to Nibelheim, you're supposed to go to Cid's town. But that's not what happened. That's not what we did. It's ridiculous. I really didn't like that. I really did not like how we skipped Cid. We skipped Cid's town. They probably couldn't fit it all into the game, so they just decided to leave it for the next game. And I guess they're just, they changed the story in that way. But whatever, I do think that kind of ruined the story, because I kind of like Cid, how he's swearing and how he's talking crap to his wife and all of that. When you first meet him, Cid is like a total dick, Vincent joins your party, but you don't get to use him. You don't get to use Vincent, which is kind of sucks, Vincent is one of the coolest guys in the series. And also, I feel as though they rush towards the end at the Temple of the Ancients, which didn't make sense. And then once you're done the Temple of the Ancients, the team kind of just teleports to, the Promised Land, right? And finally, Aerith's death. Aerith, she, they cheapen her story. They spoiler alert, it's been like a whole year already since the game came out, so if you haven't played it, sorry, but I'm gonna spoil it right now. Aerith doesn't die. Or at least, it seems as though she did not die. But I'll tell you exactly what happened, because a lot of people think that Cloud is just like seeing her in his mind, like she became a part of Cloud's mind or something. But really what happened is that Aerith, when Sephiroth tries to kill her, Cloud jumps in, blocks his attack, but Aerith, she becomes unconscious, and then she becomes part of the live stream. Okay? If you know the original story, the reason why Sephiroth keeps appearing all over the place is because he's part of the live stream. And that way he can move throughout the entire planet. And Aerith kind of did the same thing, and she did that to try to stop Sephiroth, right? To prevent him from destroying the planet. But like we don't even see her. Like, how does she become part of the planet? Exactly, because I thought you had to die first. Unless, then again, she is an ancient. Maybe it's just part of her bloodline to do that, to be able to like join the planet. I don't know, man. I don't know. But the point is, she is part of the live stream, and similar to Sephiroth, the way that Sephiroth just moves around, he just became part of the live stream, and yeah, you guys get the point. It's hard to understand, but stay with me here. So Aerith didn't die. So you know that at the very end, when Cloud takes Aerith to to the water, and then just puts her down into the water and lets her body go down. That is one of the most important and saddest moment of Final Fantasy VII, and I feel as though they stole that from us. They stole it from the gamers, and then at the end they're just sitting there looking at the water. I'm like, damn. The whole time I was like, yo, this sucks. This sucks. Like, I feel nothing. I feel nothing. Like my chest felt empty. Like, I feel nothing for Aerith now. In the original, you cry. Some people cried watching Aerith. Watching Sephiroth kill Aerith. But now I feel absolutely nothing for her. And I think that's horrible because it creates a disconnection with you and the story. Especially those that played the story back in the 2000s or late 90s. I think this is where they really, really, really screwed up. They screwed up Aerith's story, man. Like, now she can just appear anywhere she wants, and the only person that can see her is Cloud, which I guess they did this, right? I think they did that so that they can kind of link the story, link the this trilogy to Advent Children, the movie. I think if that's what they were planning, that kind of makes sense. But they cheapened Aerith's death, and then finally, like, they did the whole multiverse bullcrap, man. I hate multiverses. I really, really do hate multiverses. I know that the Miles Morales movie, Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, was really cool, and I do think it's cool, but multiverses is a cheap way of telling a story. It's lazy storytelling. So Square Enix decided to go with the whole, there's two universes or there's three universes, and Sephiroth is trying to like unite the three universes, or like one universe, one world in Final Fantasy is dying, and the other one is where Sephiroth is trying to rule, right? And it just gets confusing at the end, and then Zack and Cloud get to see each other again and fight against Sephiroth. But it just creates this confusion, like, yo, what is going on here? Like, they really, really, really ruined the story in the sense that they're trying to do the whole multiverse thing with the whispers, and I think that's really where they messed up. And look, what people really wanted from a Final Fantasy VII remake, they just wanted better graphics, a realistic graphics, realistic Midgar in the world, and they just, maybe add a few things to the combat, add some new moves, new special moves. The team attacks are really cool, new materia, all that stuff, right? And maybe add some new missions, some new characters, right? Since it's gonna be with better graphics. But overall, man, like, they just extended the story, and they added all this new stuff that people. This is not what people wanted. This is not what gamers wanted. Like, I understand that maybe they didn't want to just do the whole thing again, do the whole same story again, but they could have just added, some new stories, some new side stories, right? They could have just added some new side stories, and then continue on with the rest of the game, right? They didn't have to add the whispers. They didn't have to do these multiverses. They didn't have to do any of that. I think that's where they messed up. People just wanted a Final Fantasy VII, same story, realistic graphics, adds a few things to the comeback and some new characters, and that was it. But Square Enix, they decided to go with the whole time travel bullcrap, multiverse, and yeah. But hey, whatever your thoughts are, make sure to comment below, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for future notifications. It's your boy, Andy Matrix. Godspeed, baby.